Quanta.
Quanta.
Quantifier.
Quantifier.
Quantify.
Quantify.
An attempt to quantify the region's social and economic decline.
The damage caused to the tourist industry is difficult to quantify.
The cost of unemployment to the government is quite easily quantifiable.
Quantitative.
Quantitative.
We need to do a proper quantitative analysis of this problem.
Quantitative easing.
Quantitative easing.
Quantity.
Quantity.
The police also found a quantity of ammunition in the flat.
Add 50 grams of butter and the same quantity of sugar. He had consumed a large quantity of alcohol.
Huge quantities of oil were spilling into the sea.
Buy vegetables in small quantities for your immediate use. Your work has improved in quantity and quality this term.
The sheer quantity of text meant that people did not read the whole of their newspaper.
It's a lot cheaper if you buy it in quantity.
Quantity surveyor.
Quantity surveyor.
Quantum.
Quantum.
Quantum computer.
Quantum computer.
Quantum leap.
Quantum leap.
There has been a quantum leap in the range of the wines sold in the UK.
The treatment of breast cancer has taken a quantum leap forward.
Quantum mechanics.
Quantum mechanics.
Quantum theory.
Quantum theory.
Quarantine.
Quarantine.
The monkeys were kept in quarantine for 31 days.
Quark.
Quark.
Quarrel.
Quarrel.
Jacob left after a quarrel with his wife. They had a quarrel about some girl.
Had there been any quarrel between you? My only quarrel with this plan is that it's going to take far too long. I have no quarrel with the court's verdict.
I wish you two would stop quarrelling.
I always seem to be quarrelling with my parents.
We're not going to quarrel about a few dollars. Nobody could quarrel with the report's conclusions. Quarrelsome.
Quarrelsome.
He became quarrelsome after drinking too much.
Quarry.
Quarry.
A slate quarry. Briefly, the hunter and his quarry glared at each other.
The rock here is quarried for building stones.
Chalk is quarried from the surrounding area.
Quarry tile.
Quarry tile.
Quart.
Quart.
Quarter.
Quarter.
A quarter of a mile.
Roughly 1/4 of the city's population. It's about a page and a quarter.
£750,000.
In the last quarter of the 19th century.
Cut the cake into quarters.
I'll meet you in a quarter of an hour. She arrived 3/4 of an hour late.
It's 1:45.
I'll meet you at 10:15.
The company's profits rose by 11% in the first quarter of the year.
Our database is updated every quarter.
The home side took the lead in the second quarter.
I found a small flat in the student quarter.
Granada's ancient Arab quarter.
A historic quarter of the city.
The top floor provided living quarters for the kitchen staff.
Most of the officers live in married quarters.
What classes are you taking this quarter?
Offers of financial help came from several quarters.
Doubts were expressed in many quarters.
It was a fight to the death with no quarter given.
Quarter the tomatoes and place them round the dish.
Our troops were quartered in Boston until June.
Quarterback.
Quarterback.
She quarterbacked the new sales campaign.
Quarter day.
Quarter day.
Quarterdeck.
Quarterdeck.
Quarter-final. Quarter-final.
Quarterly.
Quarterly.
We publish a quarterly journal.
The rent is payable quarterly.
Quartermaster.
Quartermaster.
Quarter note.
Quarter note.
Quarter sessions.
Quarter sessions.
Quarterstaff.
Quarterstaff.
Quartet.
Quartet.
A string quartet.
A quartet of short films set in the 1920s.
Quarto.
Quarto.
Quartz.
Quartz.
Quartz crystals. A quartz watch.
Quasar.
Quasar.
Quash.
Quash.
The High Court later quashed his conviction for murder.
The decision was quashed by the House of Lords.
A hospital chief executive has quashed rumours that people will lose their jobs.
The government immediately moved to quash the revolt.
Quasi.
Quasi.
A quasi-scientific approach.
A quasi-governmental organisation.
Quatercentenary.
Quartercentenary.
The quartercentenary of Shakespeare's birth.
Quatrain.
Quatrain.
Quaver.
Quaver.
It's not true, she said in a quavering voice. No, he quavered.
Quay.
Quay.
Quayside.
Quayside.
People strolling along the quayside. A quayside restaurant.
Queasy.
Queasy.
The sea got rougher and I began to feel queasy.
Many Democrats feel queasy about the issue.
Queen Anne.
Queen.
Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt. Queen Elizabeth.
At 18, Victoria was crowned Queen.
The future queen.
The Queen of Diamonds.
With 42 albums, she was the queen of pop.
Paris, the queen of fashion.
Carnival Queen.
Queenly.
Queenly.
She gave a queenly wave as she rode past.
Queen Mab.
Queen Mab.
Queen's Counsel.
Queen's Counsel.
Queen's English.
Queen's English.
Queen's Evidence.
Queen's Evidence.
Queen size.
Queen size.
The Queen's speech. The Queen's speech. Queer.
Queer.
She gave a queer laugh.
Hank was beginning to feel a little queer.
Sue looked at him queerly.
Queer bashing.
Queer bashing.
Quell.
Quell.
Police used live ammunition to quell the disturbances. Police used live ammunition to quell the disturbances.
Jerry, she called, trying to quell the panic inside her.
Quench.
Quench.
We stopped at a small bar to quench our thirst.
A desperate bid to quench the raging flames. A desperate bid to quench the raging flames.
Querulous.
Querulous.
But why can't I go? He said in a querulous voice.
Query.
Query.
Give us a ring if you have any queries about the contract.
Staff are always available to answer your queries.
Both players queried the umpire's decision.
Many people are querying whether the tests are accurate.
What time are we leaving? Maggie queried.
Quest.
Quest.
His long quest for truth.
The quest for human happiness.
World leaders are now united in their quest for peace. They journeyed to the distant Molucca Islands in quest of spices.
Question.
Question.
Can I ask you a question?
I'm afraid I can't answer that question.
They asked me quite a lot of difficult questions about my job. They asked me quite a lot of difficult questions about my job.
The survey included questions on age and smoking habits.
In answer to your last question, yes.
We discussed the question of confidentiality.
This raises the question of government funding.
An urgent need to address the question of crime. Several questions have still not been resolved.
The question is, should I take the job in Japan or should I stay here?
Some important questions remain unanswered.
The exact cause of death is still open to question.
This has called into question people's right to retire at 60.
He's by far the best candidate. There's no question about it.
There is no question that the government knew about the deal. Her efficiency and intelligence are beyond question.
There are questions about the system's practicality.
Marilyn was without question a very beautiful woman.
Clara accepted his decision without question. There is no question of the project being postponed.
Where were you during the evening in question?
I'm afraid his honesty is now in question.
Dance is a question of control and creative expression. I would love to come, but it's a question of time. It's just a question of putting in a couple of screws.
How can we afford this? Good question.
Two men have been arrested and questioned.
She hates being questioned about her past.
Joseph questioned the doctors closely.
Are you questioning what I'm saying?
No one dared to question his decisions.
One questions whether he's telling the truth.
Questionable.
Questionable.
The statistics are highly questionable.
It is questionable whether the taxpayer receives value for money.
I suspected that his motives for helping us were questionable.
He was a man of questionable character.
Questioner.
Questioner.
Questioning.
Questioning.
Mrs. Carson gave Ruth a questioning look.
Question mark.
Question mark.
A big question mark hangs over the company's future.
Question master. Question master.
Questionnaire.
Questionnaire.
All staff were asked to fill in a questionnaire about their jobs.
Question tag.
Question tag.
Queue.
Queue.
We stood in a queue for half an hour. You'll have to join the queue. A queue of people waiting for the bus. The queue for the toilets.
There was a long queue to get into the cinema. At last we got to the front of the queue.
You'll have to join the housing queue. The queue for kidney transplant operations.
It is possible to jump the queue if you are prepared to pay for your treatment.
The print queue.
Some of the people queuing for tickets had been there since dawn. We had to queue up for ages to get served.
The school is one of the best, and parents are queuing up to send their children there.
Actresses are queuing up for the part.
Queue jumping. Queue jumping.
Quibble.
Quibble.
Let's not quibble over minor details.
I've just got a few minor quibbles.
Quiche.
Quiche.
Quick.
Quick.
That was quick. I thought you'd be another hour. It's probably quicker by train.
Have we got time for a quick drink?
What's the quickest way to the station?
We stopped to have a quick look at the church.
3 bombs went off in quick succession.
She walked with short, quick steps.
They were great people to work with. Very quick, very efficient.
I had to make a quick decision.
We've put the house on the market and we're hoping for a quick sale.
We need a quick response from the government.
Robertson's quick thinking had saved the little girl's life.
Jane's very witty and very quick. Jane's very witty and very quick.
She's a quick learner.
He's a good interviewer, tough and quick on the uptake. He's a good interviewer, tough and quick on the uptake.
If you want to come with me, you'll have to be quick. I'm leaving in 10 minutes.
Can I just finish this first? Okay, but be quick about it.
The government was quick to deny any involvement in the attacks.
There's no quick fix for stopping pollution.
Congress is trying to avoid quick fix solutions. Quick, we'll miss the bus.
Come quick. Larry's on TV.
It all happened pretty quick.
Quick as a flash, she replied. That's not what I've heard.
Her nails were bitten to the quick.
She was cut to the quick by the accusation.
Quicken.
Quicken.
Ray glanced at his watch and quickened his pace. Companies are finding it hard to cope with the quickening pace of technological change.
He caught sight of Rob and felt her heart quicken.
This policy served only to quicken anti-government feeling.
Quickening.
Quickening.
Quickfire.
Quickfire.
Contestants have to answer a series of quickfire questions.
Quickie.
Quickie.
I've got a question for you. It's just a quickie.
A quickie divorce.
Quicklime.
Quicklime.
Quickly.
Quickly.
We need to get this finished as quickly as possible.
Kids grow up so quickly these days.
I realized fairly quickly that this wasn't going to be easy.
I'll just quickly nip into that shop.
Have you talked to Vera about it yet? Just quickly.
Quicksand.
Quicksand.
Quicksilver.
Quicksilver.
His mood changed like quicksilver.
His quicksilver temperament.
Quickstep.
Quickstep.
Quick-tempered.
Quick-tempered.
Quick-witted.
Quick-witted.
Toby was quick-witted and entertaining.
A quick-witted reply.
Quid.
Quid.
She earns at least 600 quid a week. If this deal comes off, we'll be quids in.
Quid pro quo.
Quid pro quo.
There's a quid pro quo for everything in politics. You'll soon learn that.
Quiescent.
Quiescent.
Quiet.
Quiet.
We'll have to be quiet so as not to wake the baby.
It's a nice car. The engine's really quiet.
I'll be as quiet as a mouse.
You're very quiet, Mom. Is anything the matter?
I didn't know anything about it, so I just kept quiet.
The crowd went quiet.
A woman whose life of quiet desperation threatens to overwhelm her. Jack's air of quiet authority. A strange, quiet girl.
Tanya, be quiet. I'm on the phone. Tanya, be quiet. I'm on the phone.
Quiet, you lot.
You're getting married? You kept that quiet.
Our hotel room was comfortable and quiet. When they walked into the pub, the place went quiet.
It was a Sunday, about 3 o'clock, and the streets were quiet.
I'd love to go on holiday somewhere where it's nice and quiet. Anthony met her in the bar, and they found a quiet corner where they could talk.
I'm going to have a quiet night in.
He wants a quiet life while she wants to go out partying.
August is a quiet time of year for the retail trade. Give the kids some crayons. That will keep them quiet for a while.
Brian's just not keeping up with the workload. Can you have a quiet word?
We were enjoying the quiet of the forest.
I've had an awful day. Now I just want some peace and quiet.
Can I have some quiet, please?
We found out he'd been doing some freelance work on the quiet. Quieten.
Quieten.
Javed Miandad appealed for calm, but he failed to quieten the protesters.
Quiet down and get ready for bed.
Things tend to quieten down after Christmas.
I managed to quieten her fears.
Quietism.
Quietism.
Quietly.
Quietly.
Rosa shut the door quietly.
I'm sorry, she said quietly.
A quietly spoken man.
The mayor had been aiming to quietly turn over control of the city's water to private business interests.
The government hoped that their early mishandling of the crisis could be quietly forgotten.
Now, are you going to come quietly, or do I have to use force?
The government hoped that their early mishandling of the crisis could be quietly forgotten.
Now, are you going to come quietly, or do I have to use force?
Speculation is growing that Grogan will be replaced at the end of the season, and he is unlikely to go quietly.
Adam came out of the interview feeling quietly confident.
Quietude.
Quietude.
Quietus.
Quietus.
Quiff.
Quiff.
Quill.
Quill.
Quilt.
Quilt.
Quilted.
Quilted.
A quilted bathrobe.
Quilting.
Quilting.
Quin.
Quin.
Quince.
Quince.
Quinine.
Quinine.
Quinoa.
Quinoa.
Quint.
Quint.
Quintessence.
Quintessence.
John is the quintessence of good manners.
Quintessential.
Quintessential.
Guys and Dolls is the quintessential American musical.
A place that is quintessentially English.
Quintet.
Quintet.
Quintuplet.
Quintuplet.
Quip.
Quip.
Giving up smoking is easy, he quipped. I've done it hundreds of times. An amusing quip.
Choir.
Choir.
Quirk.
Quirk.
Years later, by a strange quirk of fate, she found herself sitting next to him on a plane. Years later, by a strange quirk of fate, she found herself sitting next to him on a plane.
Like every computer, this one has its little quirks.
Quirky.
Quirky.
I like his quirky sense of humour.
Quisling.
Quisling.
Quit.
Quit.
He quit his job after an argument with a colleague.
I quit school at 16. She has decided to quit show business.
People are now calling on the chairman to quit.
The majority of smokers say that they would like to quit the habit.
Quit it, Robbie, or I'll tell Mom.
We've done what we can. Let's quit.
He's been given 6 months to live if he doesn't quit drinking. I wish you'd all quit complaining.
The landlord gave them notice to quit the premises within 7 days.
The people now long to be quit of war. It was 10 years since he had quit Russia.
Quite.
Quite.
The food in the canteen is usually quite good.
His hair is quite thin on top now.
Amy's at university now and doing quite well.
He's quite a good soccer player. The film was quite good, but the book was much better. I got a letter from Sylvia quite recently. I quite like Chinese food.
He's got quite a lot of friends.
Quite a few towns are now banning cars from their shopping centres.
I'm sorry, that's quite impossible. What she's suggesting is quite ridiculous. I think you've had quite enough to drink already.
That's quite a different matter.
They weren't quite ready, so we waited in the car.
I'm not quite sure where she lives.
Dinner's almost ready, but not quite.
I must admit, the play wasn't quite what we expected.
That was quite a party you had. The engines make quite a noise. It's quite some distance away. We've been waiting for quite some time now. I refuse to do any more work. Quite right. They can't expect you to work for nothing. I'm sorry we're so late. That's quite all right. They really should have thought of this before. Yes, quite. It's quite something to walk out on stage in front of 20,000 people.
Quits.
Quits.
I'll give you £10 and then we're quits.
Just give me $20 and we'll call it quits.
After 25 years as a teacher, he's decided to call it quits.
Quitter.
Quitter.
Quiver.
Quiver.
The child was quivering in her arms.
Her mouth quivered slightly as she turned away.
I lay there quivering with fear. His voice was quivering with rage. I felt a quiver of excitement run through me.
Quixotic.
Quixotic.
This is a vast, exciting and perhaps quixotic project.
Quiz.
Quiz.
A love quiz in a magazine. A general knowledge quiz.
I get fed up with television quiz shows.
A quiz night held in the local pub.
A biology quiz.
4 men have been quizzed about the murder, but no one has yet been charged.
They quizzed me on my involvement in the scheme.
Quizmaster.
Quizmaster.
Quizzical.
Quizzical.
He sat and watched her, a quizzical look on his face.
Quo.
Quo.
Quite.
Quite.